Hi, Robert. Okay, I'm glad that you liked the first video. I read your email and looked at your video, and a lot occurred to me since I did that. Um, your responses, as far as you've thought of some of the things that I had said, and you kind of felt that you knew them, but it was nice to have them said as well. Kind of makes me feel, again, like I said, I think you have what it takes to do what you need to do. But then you further went on and you talked about how you wanted some help with basic scheduling, task closure, improvement, not getting overall stressed out about so many choices, having those things keep you away from things. Also, when you mentioned in the video about how you were working, looking on the internet and surfing on the internet and not finding very much satisfaction in that, those kinds of things. Made me realize that you're still very much dealing with the outward facade of things. I noticed in your video that you had a tattoo on your arm, very big tattoo. That is very much indicative of somebody that is very much about the facade of things. Your goals, trying to achieve your goals, very much about the facade of the things. Like I said the other day, if you do achieve all your goals and they're just as, just right on the surface there of, well, okay, I did this, I did this, I did this, I overcame these things, and I did this and this and this. If that's all that you've achieved in life, even if you've achieved them, you still have missed what could be arguably much more important. I think you're very much caught up by the way things appear. You said you pretty much believe that things are the way they are. That's all there are in the world. There's no God. There's just your emotions and your sets of circumstances and the way that you deal with them. And so you need is a breakthrough. What you need is a breakthrough. You said you have received disability monies. You also have some assistance from your father. You don't really need to do anything. You're okay. You're feeling to be motivated to push forward is suffering because I think you don't know what the reward would be. You don't fully understand what the reward would be if you did accomplish. So way off in the back distance of your mind somewhere you're saying, I'd have a neater, more organized place to live in. I'd be a better painter. I'd be a better martial artist. I'd have a better grip on my reality and I'd be able to jostle my facade around and make it to be the way that I want it to be more. If this empowerment is what you ultimately want, I'm not saying that I can't help you to get that, but you might be barking up the wrong tree because these things are way, way less important than what you're feeling that they are. And as long as you feel that they are important and you cannot disconnect yourself from the outward facade of what you're dealing with, like if I was going to switch, all right, let me switch over for a second here. Let's just say I was the kind of person that you needed to talk to you about these things. Let's say I was. And I was one of those kinds that said, okay, let's deal with the facade that you've got. Let's deal with the actual circumstances that you have. I would say, okay, in order to do better at your organization, you need to set aside a certain amount of time each day and make sure that, this is done before this and whatever, and so that you can keep on compartmentalizing little sections until they're bite-sized pieces, and you get a hold of the thing, and then each day you don't get like a reward that you want, like sitting down to waste time on the internet or eat something or whatever until you've accomplished A, B, and C. If I was going to go that route and I was going to work just with your facade, that's the way I would do it. And whether or not you thought that what I said agreed with what you would like and you thought it was manageable, now it would be how successful I would have been, and then that would have hopefully achieved you to be how successful. Like if you look at the diet plans, well, when somebody goes out and says, what kind of diet plan am I going to have? what they do is they're really saying, I really don't want a diet. I don't really want the results that badly, but I'll take them if I can find something that mirrors what I would be doing anyway, closely enough. And so a person chooses a diet plan that's very close to what they're going to be doing anyway. And they really haven't done anything because they implement something that's just a small little extra effort. It doesn't really accomplish anything. It's not really taking them away from where they were. And this is why a lot of people that deal with the facade alone don't accomplish things. They are always being put down by their own things that got them there in the first place, are constantly still on top of them. They don't work around them. They don't knock them out of the way. They don't become new beings from inside and rise from the ashes of their old life, because the manipulations they have are just slightly different than the manipulations that they would have used in the first place to get them where they're going. And unless they're very skillful or very lucky, the manipulations they do aren't going to produce incredible results. You might get a slight movement one way or another that's more positive than another, but then a backslide. A slight movement. Okay, today I did pretty well, but then I did a backslide. And then what happens is the more tired you get, I'm getting some progress, and then the mind starts thinking, why am I doing this again? Why am I going through this exertion? What are my goals? And the mind starts compensating for the body until the mind comes up with a solution of why you can stop pushing so hard. The mind will continue to offer solutions and excuses for the body until the body can stop and say, yeah, okay, I can see what you're saying, mind. Yeah. Oh, it feels so good to stop. Thanks for coming up with that idea for me. When you're working with just a facade, that's what's going to happen. Let me tell you an example of what I've done in my personal life when I'm doing something like, let's say an exercise routine. When I used to run on the beach, for instance, when I was lifeguarding or whatever, I had this really long beach, and you had I think you had an hour every day to do your workout. And I said, okay, I'm going to do my workout or whatever. Or I went back after even I lifeguarded, and I said, I'm going to do my workout. But nobody's telling me what I'm going to do. I'm the master of what I'm going to do. And I know these things I'm telling you about now, how my mind is going to try to convince me that something else, the more tired I get, the more I apply myself, something else is going to psych me out and say, yeah, you're okay now, you're good, you can stop right there. So what I did was I didn't say, I'm just going to run, see how I feel. I'm just going to go along. No, I'm getting good to work out and whatever. And just like kind of figure it out as I go along. You can't do that, because what will happen is, as you start to fail, as you start to fatigue, as you start to lose connection with your thoughts of where you were going and why, as new challenges present themselves, as curveballs come in your life every day that you didn't expect to happen, as scheduling changes happen, as little accidents happen, or little misgivings or bad luck things happen or whatever, you get off the track and you lose your way again. You'd have to be extremely insightful and extremely dedicated and extremely committed, all of which you probably are not, no offense. So what you do is, you don't allow yourself to be governed as you go. You start it out up front. So what I said is, okay, today I'm not going to just jog and set up a plan for myself. I'm going to say, I'm not going to stop jogging till I go all the way down to that distant wall, a couple miles away or whatever it is. And I'm not going to turn around until I've gotten to that wall, and I'm going to run all the way back, and I won't be done until that's happened. And you don't go along towards that wall and say, okay, well, how close are we to the wall? Well, we're pretty much there. Let's turn around. And you don't say, I ran all the way down there. I'm really tired. I'm gonna run most of the way back, or take a little break, or run a little bit more. You don't do that either. And you say to yourself, you know what? I'm not going to give myself any room to have myself talked out of this. I am going to run all the way down, and I'm going to physically touch the wall. And I'm going to run all the way back, and I'm going to physically come to exactly where I started. The exercise routine has not been what I set out to make it, unless that happens. I run all the way down, touch the wall physically, not a couple 100 yards short, or whenever I think, oh man, I got a side cramp or whatever, touch the wall and run all the way back, stop where I started. And every single day I would do that. Now, what does that do? It takes away your ability to talk yourself into another thing when you're down, when you lose track of your goals, when you're hurting, when you're panting, when you're out of breath. when you're saying, gee, my favorite show's coming on TV and I got another box I want to unpack and organize. What happens is if you govern yourself while you're going along, you're going to be susceptible to your failing governings that have failed you this far in life, and they're going to continue to elude you. You're going to get older. You're already susceptible to the habits that you have. Nothing's happening in your life that's driving you to a greater desire to have more success with these things. No factors in your life are giving you more strength that you didn't have yesterday. Nothing's working for you whatsoever except that you said, I'm past some of my old obstacles and I think I can handle these new ones. I'm gonna put my best foot forward. Well, that best foot's gonna get chopped off by your mind, because only on your good days, when you've got energy, you're well rested, well slept, good nutrition in you and whatnot, only on your good days, when you're looking at a new positive thing for yourself, do you feel like you can accomplish that. As soon as you move forth and you have a few little things that get in your way or slow you down, your mind starts to compensate. Your mind starts to offer your body other solutions, escape doors, ways out. You have got to stop that from happening. You've got to realize that your habitual ways that you're living have caused that to be the way your life is all this time. And you're literally, unless you change yourself, you're going to continue to be that way. How do you change yourself? You say, oh, this guy gave me an idea that I didn't have? No, you can have these same ideas. Is somebody going to just have this solution that's like a neon sign, it's going to light up and it's going to stick with you, and once it's in there, it's never going to leave your mind? No, you know these things already. So what are you going to do? You are going to justify what you want and why ahead of time, and tell yourself what you're going to do to get that, and create that wall, and you're going to touch that wall. If you don't, you've failed. But you're not going to fail because you're going to ask yourself, why do I want these things? You're going to be truthful. You're going to be 100% accurate with the way you explain this to yourself. You're going to determine, not a daydream or a magical vision of what things are going to be like when you've accomplished this. You're going to determine a greater vision, a greater clarity of what you're going to have when you do this. And if it's painting, you're going to say, I'm going to be this good, and it's going to enliven my whole vision of life. It's going to color my world. It's going to give me a new perspective. It's going to give me ability to make income. It's going to make it so that every single time I'm moving that brush, I'm happy. If you're not happy every time you're moving that brush, if it's not your forte, you'll never be happy even if you're great at it. I've never been happy as an artist, even though I got really good. I can tell you this. You have got to love it. And if you love it, you'll do it anyway. You don't need to say, I'm going to touch the wall. You'll naturally touch the wall. It'll be what you'll do. Every single time you're surfing the internet or watching some television show or wasting time, you'll be saying, I'd rather be painting. If you're not saying that, it's not because you're not a good painter. It's because you wouldn't rather be painting. You'd rather be doing something else. You don't see a way to accomplish what you're doing in that means. You probably had people say to you, you're really good at that. You should pursue it. If you're standing on that perch, if you're standing on that as your foundation, or even a part of that, that is not good enough to build a life on. If your goals that you have represent something that once you're there won't be good enough either, it's not worth your time. It's better that you say you're going to fail up front and not even attempt it. It's better that you don't even unpack those boxes. It's better that you don't even organize your apartment. It's better that you don't even go to martial arts. It's better that you not do anything at all that's going to waste your time and energies. Even doing something, sitting on your butt, eating, surfing the internet, or watch TV, or doing nothing and being lazy, or doing whatever. Don't do anything that wastes your time. Nothing. Don't make a movement. Don't even get out of bed until you know why you're doing it in the first place. What are you going to accomplish if everything you want comes true? What are you going to have then? What's your life going to look like? You have to first envision the perfect thing that you want yourself to be. The perfect everything that you want yourself to be. And then you have to say to yourself, is it worth it to have that? Is it an admirable goal? Is the sacrifice and the sweat and the blood and the tears and the giving up of the other things and the dedication to that worth the attainment of it? And what is the attainment of it going to mean to you? Are they selfish reasons? Are they shallow reasons? Are they worthless reasons? Are they titillation reasons? Are they going to give you something that you think is going to give you more energy and make your life better? And why? These questions all have to be answered. And I believe that if you talk about the facade and you talk about the tangible things in this world, when you're asking the questions and giving the answers, everything is going to be two-dimensional. Everything is going to be limited. Everything is going to ultimately fail everything else. Why? Because the body's breaking down. Things at rest tend to stay at rest. There's no perpetual motion. When the expanse of the universe happens, it's going to eventually retract, they say. We don't know that it is, but that's one of the theories. The mind will break down, knowledge will fleet, you will become less, you will die. What will have happened during the period of time before that happens? You'll have accomplished something so that you feel like you've done something and you enjoy it more. This is shallowness. The benefits that you derive from anything out of shallowness won't be worthy of your pursuit of them. If you smoke cigarettes, the only joy you'll get from smoking a cigarette is the pleasure from the act itself, the body's desire for it, and perhaps, if you're lucky, some camaraderie that goes on with maybe some others that join you and do the same thing. But you know up front that smoking cigarettes isn't going to accomplish anything for you. So that's a no-brainer to not smoke cigarettes. It's a no-brainer for the same reason to not do drugs. You know up front that you're not going to accomplish anything. You're only going to be worse off, not better off, so you don't do that. But it seems like, hey, being an artist is a worthy goal. Being a martial artist is a worthy goal. Getting your life in order and managing all your affairs and having a clean, organized house and a life representative of a person that's in charge of themselves and having a body that is bent to your will and your command, that is in the shape that you want it to be in, seems like worthy goals, doesn't it? Sure it does. It's a lot better than doing drugs or smoking cigarettes or becoming a loser or being a worthless person or not caring about society. Sure, those goals that you have are worthy goals in this physical realm. But let's ask ourselves, what do we want out of them? Do we want to improve the world? Do we want to help others? Do we want to be all that we were created to be? Do we want to reach higher goals and keep on going from there? Or do we want to instill on somebody in this world things that we could depart to them before we depart? Do we want to leave something behind? Or are they all just so that we can feel that we've accomplished something and feel good about it and have a greater sense of satisfaction, or be somewhere where we're more accomplished and swim in a pool of, look what I've done for myself. Now I can enjoy my life and just take my leisure time and just relax and be glad I did it? That's too foggy of a notion, just to be glad you're there. That's too low of an end result. I think you need to say to yourself, if I shoot for something shallow, I'll end up something shallow. I think you need to say to yourself, I'm here for a bigger purpose than that. I'm not sure what it is yet, but I want to explore the meaning of life, the who I am, what I can be, not on the surface when I look in the mirror, but when I look outside, what's going on? That this world's so screwed up. Why is it that way, and why does it stay that way? Do I want to contribute my life, it could end tomorrow, to helping that stay that way? Or do I want to find out, well, why is it that way? Even if you don't know, wouldn't you like to know you're not going to be a part of it? That's a worthy goal. That's a worthy goal. If you make that your central focus, all these other things could be added on to you. You can still obtain them. But because you're focused on something that is noble and real and valuable to far more than yourself and your titillation, What you'll be doing is you'll be setting up a foundation for yourself behind the facade of reality. In the non-physical realm, you'll be setting up a foundation that's so strong that when you begin to build on that, the things that are motivating you won't be fuzzy. They won't detract from your progress. Once you know you're moving somewhere and you're working towards something of that kind of value, it won't dissipate when you get tired. It won't fail you when you think, oh, well, I was doing okay until this happened or whatever, because you're going to be building a value pool of things that are far superior than the small titillation things that you're going to be accomplishing if you accomplish what you want now. Your goals are going to be much not goals. Your goals are more lofty, are much more substantial and important, but the rewards with them are much more substantial and important. So you have to raise those goals higher than what you've got yours set at even, and raise your understanding of the value you're going to get from it, so that the effort will unquestionably be worth it. And once you've done that and you've obtained a better solid foundation of what you're going to achieve, and know every single day that you're not going to question that it's worth it, then all these other little things that I'm calling non-problems can also be solved as you go along, but you can do it with one hand tied behind your back, and you can do it in your sleep. It'll be a natural occurrence. You'll learn how to guide yourself towards what you really want to do, why you really want to do it, and it'll be a natural thing. But it can't be a natural thing until you make the process of who you are underneath and knowing and connecting with that a natural thing. That needs to be your first thing you've got to work on. And if I can't help you with that, then anything you do with anyone else or even yourself is going to be artificial and two-dimensional and a shallow facade at best. You might do well with it, but that's all it'll be. And it can fail you again. If you don't keep giving yourself booster shots and keep reminding yourself, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? And keep deluding yourself that it's for some great reason, and don't worry, you're almost there. Keep on chugging, you'll make it, you'll finish the race. If you have to keep deluding yourself in order to feel like the value of where you're going is worthwhile, and you have to keep deluding yourself because your body wants to give up and stop, but you say you can't do it, or you're bored all the time and you say, I'm bored, where's my motivation coming from? If you keep stumbling over these same things over and over again, then yeah, everything's going to be stressful. Your schedule needs to be stressful. Too many choices to be stressful. You haven't got a foundation. You haven't got something where you can really say, okay, I know what I'm doing. I'm firmly committed. So what you do is you throw out everything that you want to accomplish. You come up with the foundation first. You come up with the reason for it all first. You come up with the faith and the understanding that what lies behind everything is going to be bigger than anything else that you can possibly do in these small manipulations of these things you want to do. That's where we need to go first. So stop thinking about schedules. Stop thinking about choices. Stop thinking about future career. Stop thinking about cleaning things and organizing things and getting neat. Stop thinking about your weight. I wouldn't waste time with the internet or television shows or other things you want. I would make everything that you think about every single day all about the thinking of it. All about the thinking of it. Do that for a while and discard all this other stuff. And think about it not as to what the physical rewards in this physical realm would be, but think about what's your ultimate purpose. Why do you take fleshly form? Why are you going to do something with this fleshly form for yourself or for others? Why are you going to take control of your life in the first place? Why are you bothering to do that? Think about nothing but that, and your answers will come to you of how to build towards a vision that you develop and why to build towards a vision that you develop. And when those hardcore answers come, and you really lock them in and really understand them from every direction, from every side, then that's your starting point. Then you rebuild your life and the facade that are in the physical realm around that starting point. We've got to get you there first. You've got to have enough faith in yourself, the possibility there's a larger force beyond you, the suggestive possibility of another person that's done these same things that is telling you, suggesting what you need to do, knowing that what I'm saying isn't foreign, you probably already get it, you probably already understand it, but you're just not doing it. You're getting caught up in the details rather than the pudding. You're getting caught up in the textures rather than the meat. So I'm not saying something that probably that's outlandish to you, but if you can't get that focus, whatever else you look at won't be in focus either. So do that first. Let's talk about what needs to happen to get there. And then we'll talk about these other things. I looked at your notes. You were interested about basic scheduling. You were making enough money for, disability with your father when you didn't have to actually do anything, so you don't have to do anything. You got to find a goal that is worthy of what your body is going to do. What's your purpose in life going to be? What are you going to do to serve this world? You don't have to do a thing. What's going to make you do something when you don't have to do something? Interest alone? Probably not. You're going to have to look for something way more than interest alone. A lot of people are in the situation that you're in. We're living like kings. We're in a fabulously wealthy country. That is breaking down like crazy, and the world is too. But you can afford only for so long to continue to make the decision that you're making. You have got to realize what you're truly here for and make those decisions that are connected to that first. And then, hopefully, if you get that right, everything else will be added onto you. But just doing something because you think it'll be interesting or to make you a better person or whatever, why? The question of why has to be completely thoroughly understood and answered. You have to understand the meaning of life, the meaning of your life, the meaning of existence, the meaning of everything so that you can answer the word why. If you can't answer the word why without knowing anything, but at least surmising it and being convicted by your feelings, your religious ideals, even if you can't put them into perfect words, then whatever you do is going to fail. It's going to come far less than what you're capable of, and that's failure. If you do less than you're capable of, every notch that you go down from where you're capable of is a notch of failure. You can't possibly set your goals too high. Also, you said you want to lose 50 pounds. I look at you. You're carrying your weight well. You're at a natural size, believe it or not. You could lose some pounds, but you're never going to be skinny. You are carrying your weight properly. You're at a natural size. You're that shape and size. You're that type of an individual. So you want to be the best individual you can be for who you are. That should be your goal. I hope it is. We didn't talk about how much you do weigh, how tall you are, and how much the ideal weight is. That's not important. You want to be the best you can be of what you can be. Because ultimately, all you are for yourself is a tool. That's all you are. And if you can be a tool effectively, no matter what shape or size you are, then you've already won that battle, no matter what weight you are. And then you said the physical world is all there is. If that's what you truly believe, then like I said, you'll have to just fix it using the physical world devices. But if you're going to use non-physical world devices to fix it, you have to believe that there's more than just the physical world. So you would be defeating the purpose to listen to anything I said and to go further and grasp this thing, because you've got to use non-physical world things to grow. And if you think the physical world is all there is, then the non-physical world things don't exist. So you'll fail then, just by you believing that the physical world is all there is. You've got to have that little mustard seed worth of faith that I talked about the other day in order to get past that. That's important to focus on too, along with thinking the why and what are you going to do. We'll worry about the how later on, but the why and the picture of the meaning of it all and how it has to go beyond the physical world to get to that intrinsic quality that the universal purpose of man can be derived from analysis that goes beyond just their physical body, taking care of it and nurturing it. You're approaching your life and your goals, in my opinion, as far as how your physical body can nurture them and how they'll nurture you back. And because you can't get an ironclad enough answer of how you'll get nurtured back, you lose your way towards nurturing them, and they fail you and you fail them, and it's a vicious cycle. If you can't break that vicious cycle, that's what's going to keep beating you up. Don't listen to others. Don't listen to me. Listen to just a suggestion of what I say and then hear it from yourself. Don't go to philosophers. Don't go to thinkers. Don't go to religious books yet until you're ready to embrace them. Think about these things that I've said, these ideas that I've said, these suggestions. Think about them and do nothing more than think. Don't think about how you're going to do what you're going to do or what you need to do. Think about the essence of all things. Think about maybe that you're failing because you're shooting too low. You're shooting too much at the outward facade. Think about how much more there could be in the infinite than there is in the finite, and just fathom the infinite. Just sit there and meditate. Do more meditating than you normally do for a short while here. And then let's get back on, and let's just figure out from there if that has any hope. Because if you only ask me to chart a progress graph for you to follow or whatever, anybody can do that. Anybody. Yourself can do it. I need to take you somewhere where you can go, but where you might not necessarily go by yourself. Then I'm the person that can help you. That's what I'm going to be offering you. If you think you could go there, we'll continue and we'll talk more about what you think about once you start fathoming a little bit, what you start thinking. When you put these other things on the shelves and you think about that, focus on that. Take a few days, focus on that. Nothing but that. Think about, go up on the top of a skyscraper and look out over the world and think about, what is all this here for? How did it get like this? And how much of it is good, how much of it is right, and how much of it is just because of the failures of man? Think about the people on the other side of the world that don't have these problems, that have a whole new set of problems. Why are their problems different? Why do we have these problems? Think and fathom everything you could possibly fathom. Take your eyes off your life for just a little while and just think about your place as a person in this world. That's the only way you think about your life. Don't think about painting. Don't think about organization. Don't think about any of the things that you're thinking about. Take your mind off of where your normal daily activities for your mind is and put it in a trance of a meditation state that just thinks about everything else, and see what you can come up with after doing that for a few days and find a greater meaning. And then let's talk about the greater meaning and how we can achieve that. Once we achieve that, you'll be on the road to achieving all these little things you want to do too. All right, I'll talk to you soon.